somebody can have that heartwarming feeling like you did with her.
Yes, not only that, it's no longer in our school systems. You know, they doing all of that.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. I don't know what's going on with this climate of government, but at the same time, this climate of government always been here.
It's always been here.
I don't know why people acting like this a big shot when it's not.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
For real, for real. But how did it make you feel when you wanted to drop information on people and they was not receiving it?
It's discouraging for sure. It's discouraging, but to be quite honest, it's almost necessary. You need to be taught that you have to find your spaces. You need to be taught that you have to find your audiences. That's something that you'll find anywhere. You can find an artist that raps and they go into the wrong club and it's like, they're not messing with me here. Or they could even open up for somebody and it's like, I think because I like this artist that y'all was gonna like me and that you didn't. You know, you're like, yeah, we hated the opening act. Yeah. So it's just character building to have that feeling of discouragement and to keep going past that, because that's going to keep happening. Every level you're going to have to surpass whatever discouragement you have. So I do think it's important to have it, but it's very discouraging to be in those rooms that it's like, y'all not messing with it, are y'all? Yeah.
You be like, man, this is good.
This is great. You mean y'all don't like it? So yeah, it's hard. Even the climate that we're in now where it feels like we need things like this and people are going to use media to scroll and not pay attention to what they should be paying attention to is discouraging. But what I have realized, the example that I have, I also create branded clothing. Okay. And I've lived here in Houston long enough that when George Floyd passed away, I woke up sold out. And I was like, man, what's going on? Yeah. These clothes have always been here. I've always had clothes that said just that. But my Born Black, Been Proud shirt sold out because he died.
Why do you think it had to take something like a negative event to happen for people to realize what they have or what was in their face?
I don't know, because even within the book that I'm reading, the book is called Black Power by Stokely Carmichael. And one of the first things that he says is that we don't have that luxury. We don't have the luxury to wake up later. You know, we don't have the luxury to figure it out later. We don't have the luxury to not want to be uncomfortable, but we use it even though we don't have it. That's really what it is that we're using almost our American privilege, even though we don't feel like we have it, we do. Because we still utilize it to not wake up and not do. We still decide when we want to care. We still decide what causes we want to support. We still decide when we want to vote. We still decide what's important to us, even though it should all be important, because we're in such a time where we don't have the luxury to pick and choose, but we do. Even honestly, early voting is right now. We should all be voting. But then there's also voting happening within the HISD school system. Yeah. So you could be voting for the board so that things won't happen, like books won't be banned for your kids, but we have the luxury to not care.
I have to agree to disagree. You feel me? I don't want to say the luxury or don't care. I really think people don't quite understand, because. But
that's still a luxury.
Why would you say that?
Because if ICE was snatching us, well, I'm sure we would try and understand. I'm sure we were trying to understand. That's a luxury because we still are in the comfort of our own homes. We still have what we need right now. Even depending on how long the government shutdown goes, I'm sure ideas will change. But right now we have the luxury and the comfort. We're not uncomfortable enough. So we have the luxury in only caring about what we feel is important.
I get your drift. And I understand the concept of what you're saying. But okay, you graduated. You got your bachelor's, correct? Okay, I got mine too. So when you in school and you in certain classes, you be like, oh my God, I didn't know this information. So I feel like in life, people go through life and go through certain classes of life. And when they go through certain classes of life, that's when they realize, like, oh man, I really didn't know I know this information. Like, for example, a lot of people don't really not truly aware that the local elections is very much more powerful than federal election, because your local election really determine your federal election. But however, some people say, okay, I'm gonna vote every 4 years and every 2 years because the system or whatever they receive at that moment made them realize this is how it happened. Like, for example, I hate to say this, but I'm gonna say it. Like the first time I got a chance to vote was because of like Obama. That's when I just turned 18.
Of course, same.
So of course I went for Obama.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I never saw a reflection of myself in that house. But something that I didn't understand is like, it's certain judges, it's certain board members, and governors and mayors, and even water building cycle people.
Absolutely.
So like when I first started into voting, I can't sit here and just say it was the luxury or I ain't had the luxury. It's just like I just started beginning.
Absolutely.
It just came my way, and due to the fact it just came my way, I realized, because I'm still learning how to even vote more.
Absolutely.
I'm still learning about certain policies and certain bills, and that's what I'm getting at. Like, sometimes can it be like a double-edged sword? Of course it can.
Of course it can. Of course it can.
But most of the time when I start talking, I'm really speaking for people that's really... for people
just oblivious.
Yeah, like
that's still a choice though when you think about it. Okay, so you gave the example of class, of being in class and learning something and being like, oh my gosh, I never really knew this before. So even within a class, you kind of take the meat and spit out the bones. You decide what you're going to take in.
Yeah.
You might have a time where the professor is like, all right, y'all need to pay attention because this is definitely going to be on your exam. You may or may not pay attention. And then you'll have to realize on the secondary exam, okay, next time I take this exam, I might need to pay attention to that. Okay. So at this big age, we have heard before, because like you said, it was 18 when you were first able to vote. So every 4 years thereafter, this has happened. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So in those times, there has been somebody who is using their revolutionary acts to tell you what is going on. Down to people sometimes even give you, now that we have social media, who you're supposed to vote for within judges, and why. So we do get that information. We decide whether or not we care about it.
No, I know what I'm saying is I'm feeling you, because we both agree we got to go to class. And with the class, you can pick and choose with the information. But if you never go to the class, you will never understand what you can pick or choose.
But that's rare now because we're in a very media heavy space. So at this point, you are choosing whether I literally just could go and change my algorithm today because I know that voting is happening, and look at a whole bunch of voting stuff, and it would start to come up where I would see voting in Texas on TikTok, voting in Texas on Instagram, where I could get the information that I need if I wanted to. We have Google at our fingertips. We now got ChatGPT at our fingertips, where if you want to, you can look and actually figure out. Now, it used to be a lot harder, but now you really can figure out exactly what's going on, whose names are on the ballot. You can find every ballot and then look those people up if you'd like to.
But this the thing, though. This is the thing. Some people don't even know. I'm not trying to use no excuses. Even though we live in a technology era, it's still people that don't know how to use the technology. It's still people don't know how to utilize the intelligence of technology. Because of the information that's not provided. And I'm not trying to make no excuses for anybody at all. But at the same time, it's like, sometimes, like, for people to really put things in perspective, sometimes it takes time, and sometimes you got to go get it. You get what I'm saying? Like, I remember when I was a kid, you know what I'm saying, we was smoking Black and Milds. You feel what I'm saying? Not knowing what the effect of it. Like, you get the Black and Mild box wood tip. That's the kind, wood tip or wine. You know what I'm saying? And the label say, hey, this gonna hurt your lungs. You get what I'm saying? And
shout out my friend, you know who you are.
You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, it's like, I think Denzel said it best. Denzel Washington said it the best. He said, I'm gonna paraphrase it. He said, a lot of people read the newspaper. Could that be informal or misinformal?
Definitely could be both.
You get what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So at the end of the day, it's same thing with the class. Depending on the teacher delivering the information from for the content of the material with the you get what I'm saying? And it's on the students to really break down the material of what the instructor is trying to say. So that's why I'm saying, like, even though we in the age of information, information is not being received properly.
It's not, and that's the thing, it's just not being received. It is being disseminated, but it's not being received. And that's why I feel that it's a luxury to not receive it, because where I do feel is true. You just mentioned Denzel, and I remember the movie John Q.
Yeah.
Now, once his kid was at stake, then he was all in. You know what I'm trying to say? So there is the point that once it hits home, whatever that